Warm greetings from the high tent. It's Everyday Shenanigans. Happy Friday to everybody. Have a safe weekend. We've got a cold front coming in East Tennessee and other said areas on the East Coast, so please bundle up. By Sunday morning, there will be freezing temperatures. If you need any verification for any information in this live, please go to my community board via the YouTube queue. The said information will be in those said boxes. Thank you so much for joining me. Weigh in on this bizarre story out of Florida. A very, very bizarre story of a child beating up his teacher. It has been said that it was two children throwing chairs, acting up in a classroom, and then one of the students decided to go ham on the school teacher. I will bring you audio from CBS News, and I also will read you an article that's in more detail pertaining to what's been going on down in Florida with the school teacher and the said students. Thank you for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans. Hello, Jackie. How you doing? Everybody bundle up this weekend. It's going to be cold, so bring out your electric blanket. The weather has changed up on us. Thank you all for joining me. Thanks for following the content. Welcome new subs, chat, and mods. CBS Miami is the source. Thank you so much.
We're checking in on a Broward Elementary School teacher who police say was hurt by a 5-year-old student. That teacher's injuries sent her to the hospital.
It happened last week at Pine Lakes Elementary School. Now there are questions as to whether teacher safety is being put at risk. CBS 4's Joe Murray joins us with that and the district and teachers union response to all this. Joe?
Well, the school board is meeting right now. They're not talking about this incident publicly, but the teachers union president tells me it isn't the first time that this 5-year-old attacked the teacher. Once before, he caused a bookshelf to fall and hit her. Now, I spoke with the teacher's father this afternoon. He tells me that she is doing all right. It's a question mark whether she will need surgery, but the teachers union is asking that the district fix it right now.
She's a sweet teacher. She's a sweet teacher.
Special ed teacher Tricia Meadows is still recovering nearly a week after she left her school on a stretcher.
Physically, extreme, condition, social, emotional, extreme condition, a single mom of a 2-year-old.
Teachers union president said a 5-year-old slammed into the teacher. She fell and hit her head. And then she says the 5-year-old proceeded to punch and scratch the teacher. I want to talk about this is a continuous problem, not just here, but the teachers are really under assault these days.
No, it's a continuous problem. And it's, I'm watching out on the social media platform, people like, how could this possibly happen from a 5-year-old or a 4-year-old? Well, let me make it clear. It does happen, and it has happened, and it's still continuing to happen. It shouldn't take months from the first moment that anger, that violence, that attack happened. It should have never happened again. Again, the district's fault. They should have done better.
This parent who asked not to show her face said the district needs to do more.
My son is taught not to fight, to keep his hands to himself, and if anything, to tell the teacher. At the point when they take him off my son would have been, if she was unconscious, imagine a 5-year-old.
In a statement, the district acknowledged the incident, saying the situation was investigated by Pembroke Pines Police and handled in accordance with district protocols. Due to privacy laws, the district is not able to provide any additional information and defers to Pembroke Pines Police. And I did call the Pembroke Pines Police Department. They said it is still under investigation, but at this point they have chosen not to charge the 5-year-old. They say he is under the age of reason. Meantime, the teachers union is still going to be pushing for change. They said that they don't want to see this happen again to another teacher. In Fort Lauderdale, Joan Murray, CBS 4 News.
Pembroke Pines. Guess that's a very small place in Florida. CBS Miami is the source. I will now read you the said information pertaining to this very bizarre story out of the state of Florida. Thank you for joining me. NBCnews.com is the source. Florida boy 5 who attacked teacher lacked intent necessary for prosecution, legal experts say. You'd be hard-pressed to find a prosecutor who believed that it would be ethical to prosecute a child that young for something like this, one expert said. A 5-year-old Florida boy who police say severely beat his teacher but will not be charged over the incident lacked the criminal intent that will be needed for prosecution, legal experts said. The attack left a special education instructor at Pines Lake Elementary School sitting on the ground against the wall when first responders reached her, as she appeared to be in a faint state, according to Pembroke Pines police. The teacher was hospitalized with a concussion and won't return to the classroom anytime soon. Her union president has said. Broward County Public Schools have declined to reveal any circumstances behind the March 2 incident. We will not be placing charges against the child, Pembroke Pines Police Department spokeswoman Amanda Conwell said in a statement to NBC News on Wednesday. In addition, the victim does not wish to prosecute. Let me repeat. The victim does not wish to prosecute. Jason B. Blank, chairman of the Florida Bar's criminal law section, agreed with the decision, especially with the attack happening in a special education setting. I have never seen a 5-year-old criminally prosecuted for anything like this, especially with the set of special circumstances on top of it, Blank said. I don't think that was ever practical. Despite the police statement, the ultimate decision whether to press a criminal case would land with the local state attorney's office, and the spokeswoman for that prosecutorial agency has declined comment. The SAO, though, did cite a Florida statute that appears to rule out prosecution of any child younger than 7. However, that same code also says anyone suspected of forcible felony, such as aggravated assault, is eligible for prosecution no matter the age. Let me repeat that again. Anyone suspected, quote, forcible felony, such as aggravated assault, is eligible for prosecution no matter the age. So in theory, a case could still be brought against that youngster. But University of Miami law professor Craig Torchino said the likelihood of a prosecution here was always nearly zero. Well, we are in Florida, so I'd be reluctant to say there's no chance, Torchino said mockingly. But I would personally, professionally, and legally find it outrageous if someone decided to attempt to prosecute a 5-year-old for aggravated battery. I can't conceive of a way the state will be able to lodge an argument that a 5-year-old is capable of generating the specific intent necessary to make this a crime. The under 7 option set by Florida lawmakers gives prosecutors just enough wiggle room if there was ever truly heinous, quote unquote, crime, according to Blank. For purposes of the ability to prosecute children under the age of 7, appears to be reserved for the most heinous of crimes, if necessary, Blank said. That's why they didn't want to completely shut the door on that. But even so, you'd be hard-pressed to find a prosecutor who believed that it would be ethical to prosecute a child that young for something like this. Jenny Root, a professor of special education at Florida State University, said she hopes the Broward County incident highlights the daily challenges faced by teachers who work with children with special needs. Root said special ed teachers across the nation have been limited by staffing shortages that have left them without a full array of resources to help students, such as speech pathologists, occupational therapists, behavioral therapists, doctors, and teaching assistants. And with all students having lost social development time due to COVID-19 restrictions imposed in March 2020, the challenges of special education have never been more severe. As a result of the pandemic and staffing shortages, maybe they were used to being in a classroom with 3 teacher assistants and now they have 1 or 2, Root said. And now they don't have the resources to do what they know they're able to do to be able to support their students. Jack Scott, who teaches special education at Florida Atlantic University and is executive director of the Center for Autism and Related Disabilities, said he worries the Pine Lakes Elementary School beating will lead some teachers and administrators to be less supportive of efforts aimed at integrating special education students into mainstream settings. People in general education, non-special ed, they're often worried about having to deal with some difficult special ed kids, he said. The staffing for that, the programming for that has to be appropriate. You have to count on that. David Key Lee is the reporter for NBC News for this commentary. NBC.com is the source. Let me iterate what I just read to you. The teacher is not pressing charges against the 5-year-old student. But there is a clause in this Florida law. It's called, it's a statute that appears to rule out prosecution of any child younger than 7. However, that same code also says anyone suspected of forcible felony, such as aggravated assault, is eligible for prosecution no matter the age. So could it be she changes her mind, the teacher, and decides to sue the school district, school board, and also the parent of the teacher, since the child is under the age of reasoning? 7 is kind of funny as well, because 7 is, to me, is no different than 5. It's still a young person, very young. 5 and 7 is damn near the same. So I wonder, why did they choose the age of 7? It's a very interesting number. Let me play you a video out of the said commentary. Thank you so much for joining me. Pine Lakes Elementary School in Florida is where this incident took place, if you're curious. Yes, it's a wow. Indeed. Wow, wow.
Of anger and violence and rage and intensity that has happened to this teacher is not the norm.
Police say a 5-year-old in a pre-K class at Pines Lakes Elementary School in Pembroke Pines allegedly attacked a teacher at the school Wednesday morning. According to the police report, the student continuously hit the teacher after he and a 4-year-old started to throw things and flip chairs. Police say they found the teacher sitting on the ground against the wall. She was, quote, feeling faint, weak, and dazed before she started coughing and dry heaving. She was then taken by ambulance to the hospital. Anna Fusco, Broward Teachers Union president, represents the teacher she describes as wonderful with 13 years of teaching experience. Fusco says the 5-year-old with special needs continuously attacked the teacher after she was on the floor and unresponsive. She says the teacher was put on a ventilator at the hospital.
She was caught where he actually ran and attacked and jumped on her with his whole body weight, and she fell and, hit her head, which caused a severe injury and other bodily injuries where she's going to need surgery.
Fusco says this is the 3rd time the teacher was taken from the classroom in an ambulance because of injuries from the same student. Last time, she says the student pinned the teacher under a bookcase. She lost consciousness and was treated for a concussion. The Broward School District just released a statement to us saying, quote, the safety of our teachers, staff, and students are always the district's highest priorities. Due to privacy laws, the district is not able to provide any additional information and defers to Pembroke Pines Police.
All right, everybody, that's the said information. Coming out of Florida. Let's chop it up. Welcome to Everyday Shenanigans. If you'd like to donate to the channel, $begins. You can 129 Cash App. All super chat to welcome during this live. Let's start with the basic information that was revealed in audio number 1 and this audio number 2. This audio number 2 is more descriptive and gives us a better understanding of what the hell's been going on down here in Florida. First of all, this is elementary school. Special needs classroom, special needs teacher. 2 children were fighting in the room, throwing chairs and objects in the room. And then one of the children, boy children, 5, decides to attack the teacher. Lands on top of her. She hits her head on something, wall, whatever, and has a concussion. She was faint looking, they said, when they arrived. Ambulance, took to the hospital, put on a ventilator, not returning back, not pressing charges. Any information you need, refer to the police department. They are not prosecuting the child. Florida has laws against prosecuting anyone under the age of 7, but in that same code, if it's forcible, aggravation, whatever, they can. What the hell did I just repeat? Because where I have a problem with this story is that in this second audio, you hear that this incident has happened number 3. She was also assaulted by the same child and pinned under a bookcase and was knocked unconscious. So one would wonder, does the teacher have health problems? Let's just go there. We're going to weigh all options. Does she have a heart problem, equilibrium problem, or a dramatic problem? Or is it all of the above? Is this child this wayward? Because what you have to ask yourself, you've allowed yourself to be encumbered in a situation 3 times by the same student. That's a problem for me. The first time I got knocked out, pinned down, the child will be removed from my class. There will be no ifs, ands, or buts. I wouldn't care about nobody. School board, principal, Why not pull out your cell phone, document what's going on? But if you've been knocked out, I guess you can't grab your cell phone. But the problem with this story is that this has happened time number 3. She's been knocked out at least 2 times, 3 times. So why would you, one, continue to have this student in your class? No school board would make me teach him. That's the bottom line. And obviously the other child has problems as well. The one who was also throwing chairs in the classroom alongside this student. She's represented by a union. You heard that person speaking in his commentary, audio number 2. And this is a problem. Staffing. Nobody wants to be a teacher. COVID situation coming up 2 years this month. But nonetheless, none of those things have anything to do with principle. I'm not getting ready to teach your child and he or she is beating me up, pushing me, cursing me, whatever the situation is. I don't have to. And thank God the teachers do have a union. Because now she can show just cause to sue the school board herself. She don't have to sue the parent because the parent probably ain't got no damn money. But she can sue the school board to say, I've come to you 3 times about this child. I've come to you 2 times telling you he's disruptive, but yet you continuously leave him in my classroom. So that's what we have to ask ourselves. It's the obvious question. Did this school teacher report each incident to the principal and the school board and they did nothing? If we later find out they did nothing, she has cause to sue these people because you have allowed disruptive students, 5 or whatever the age, to harm the child, children, and the teacher. Because what you have to tell yourself is the obvious. If he is this disruptive, he, the other kids, then they will also harm other children. So everybody is in line to get a problem with these children. See, when they first started throwing the chairs, ain't no way in hell, like I said, I'm going to sit in that classroom with them. Call security or the principal. Hey, I've got a problem in here. I need somebody in here ASAP. I'm not getting ready to rough handle your kid. I'm not getting ready to get hit by your kid. I'm getting ready to call security. Hey, come get him out of here. You see, that's why I know there's some bullshit with this story, because she's on trial number 3 with the same kid. This is BS. You see, this is why we have the problems we have in this country. It's because most people are afraid to speak up, will tolerate anything, and will allow other people to throw them under the bus, push shit under the rug. Don't worry about it. Well, see, everybody can give advice because they ain't in the situation. And I'm speaking from experience, 51 years of it. You can't tell me about me because you're not in my shoes and you ain't on my journey. And no school board would ever try to tell me what I should do with this kid. You don't think I'm doing my job properly, then you come get him and you teach him. This is a jacked up story. Another crazy story coming out of Florida. I've gone from a woman found in a septic tank, possibly buried alive, to this crazy nonsense of a 5-year-old beating a damn teacher for the 3rd time. Did you hear that? For those in the back that sleep, wake on up. Time number 3. there would have never been a time number 2 with the student, because the first time he pushed me, shoved me through objects, he would no longer be in my classroom. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. And I would tell the principal and school board, if you think I'm not doing my job properly, you can feel free to give me my walking paper, severance pay, and I'll get on with the get on. Because I didn't get up for this. To come to work, no infractions on my record, to get beat up by 5-year-olds. And obviously this child needs special treatment, such as counseling, possibly meds, something. I'm no expert, but I know there's something wrong with the child. And 3 times is too many times. So now we're going to ask ourselves, are you still going to let the little boy stay in school? Because if we've later found out the child is back in school, then the principal and the school board need their asses whooped. Now, if this wasn't a special needs child, I'd go ahead and say, yeah, he probably needs some discipline in that home. Probably don't get it. But due to the fact that he's special needs, we're not going to go with corporal punishment. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. And you know that there's no corporal punishment in schoolhouses anymore. So therefore, it's up to the parent to rear their children. So if he's acting out in school, 9 times out of 10, he's acting out at his house. Well, there's no whipping. You know that, Crystal. This is modern day, baby. But that is where this problem underlines. How long has this situation been going on? How long has she been dealing with this problem? Because we are now in the month of March. So if she's had this student since August, September, those are some long months to be putting up with a wayward student. And sadly, this woman could have ended up dead had she bumped her head hard enough and not woke up. Could have been in a coma, anything. The fact that she was on a ventilator tells you a lot. That's why I started to wonder, does she have health problems? Because this incident happened before, where allegedly she had a concussion because the bookcase was pinned on top of her. All right, enough in the chat. Please stop. This is ridiculous. 2022, of all the things going on in the world, people killing people, hurting people, molesting children, beating up children, torturing children, kidnapping people, 2 countries at war with each other, and now we got a 5-year-old beating up a teacher. Yes, there should have never been a time number 2 or 3. Because now people have to question the rationale behind everybody involved. Where is the parent? Let's talk about the parent, the mother, the guardian. Has the parent ever received notification that the child was wayward, number 1? Time 1. Time 2. Now time 3. Where is the parent? Has the parent received notification that the child is wayward? Well, this case is in Florida. They have a union. That's the end of the story. The point is, where's the mother? How many times has the mother been contacted about her child? What was the protocol and solution, time number 1? That's what I want to know. Did everybody sit around the round table? Time number 1. Round table, time number 2. What was the solution offered? Time number 1, time number 2. It is now time number 3. We're past talking at this point. All I can say is, if the teacher has contacted the parent, time number 2, contacted the principal and the school board, time number 2, and obviously nothing was done for it to get to time number 3, I would hang up my special ed teaching hat and I'd get me a lawyer. And I know suing is not the best remedy for every problem, because some people are sue happy these days. But if indeed this woman has tried to talk to her union, school board, and the school with no avail, then hell yes, get your coins. Because as they say in the street, a dead man tells no tales. I hear you, Crystal. The flip side is, as Crystal was saying in the chat, are you to keep giving a special needs person a pass? Because how special needs are we talking? Because there are different levels of mental disabilities. And we don't know how disabled the child is, what level of mental disability he is in. Could it just be he's slow, but he ain't slow, if you understand what I'm saying? 5-year-old is cognitive of right and wrong, but possibly has not been disciplined. Because there are a lot of children who are slower in their classes, but it's not to the point where they can't reason and understand time, day of the week, right from wrong. So we have to ask ourselves, what is the level of the disability of the said child? What about the other child? What's his malfunction? Are we now talking about two disruptive children in the classroom? And also the teacher. Is this an overly dramatic teacher? What do we say? I'm weighing all options because I was not there. I don't know the teacher. I don't know the student. But I know somebody with sense is going to say 3 times is too many times to be putting up with a child that's disruptive, special needs or not. It doesn't even matter. It's principle. I have a job to do. I'm hired to do a job. I don't have any infractions on my teaching record. I didn't sign up for this. What is the truth about what is going on in this classroom? Thank you for joining me. That's the sad information coming out of Florida. What will happen, one, with the teacher? Is she going to keep her job? Is she going to stay on the job? Will she return back to the classroom? Number 2, who the hell wants her position? Ting! Who the hell wants to go back in her classroom? There should be a big X on the door. Do not enter. Enter at your own risk. Hard hat only. Combat boots. And you also have to consider the welfare of the other children. See, this is a very nitty-gritty situation. Because if the teacher's at threat, the children are at threat. This could easily happen to another child. Now imagine a 5-year-old beating up another 5-year-old. Stay woke. Throwing chairs, that means these children are very wayward. They are not in the right place. Now, where do you send another 5-year-old out of a special ed class? I do not know. Perhaps these children who were disrupting her class need one-on-one teaching. But that's the point. School is not designed like that. Because you have to have appropriate teachers to do a job. And there's just not enough people to go around to teach one child per child directly by him or herself. Will the teacher return? Will the teacher sue? What is going to happen with the mother and the parent of the child? Will we find out there's other hanky-panky shit going on with the parents at the house? Because common sense will tell you something's up with the parents. Because they have to know that they have a disruptive child. If you're doing it in school, you're doing it at home. What will the principal and the school board do about this situation? Who's going to be the fill-in to go in and take her place? Will there be legal ramifications after the fact? Will the teacher sue the school board? for not doing anything about this kid and what will happen to the kid. I can't say what she's going to do. Nobody said anything about suing. That's everyday shenanigans talking. I'm only asking pertinent questions. What if? What if? If. There's not been no mention of a lawsuit or suing the child. I brought commentary that said she is not suing the child. She can't sue the child. The child doesn't have anything. He doesn't have a job. He's 5 years old. Well, Polly, you're not the teacher, so you can't say she needs to stay employed. You're not in her situation. You don't know what's going on with the school board. You don't know what's going on in her classroom. We don't know how much bullshit she's had to put up with. We don't know anything. Like I said, I don't know this lady. I don't know if this is dramatics on the teacher's part. I don't know what's going on. But I would think anybody that's dealing with this 3 times probably does not want to return back to that classroom. Maybe she'd like to teach somewhere else, do something else in the teaching arena, but maybe not this. I just can't logically see anybody wanting to go back into a classroom after coming off a ventilator. That to me is illogical. Especially if I've been down this road 3 times with the student or 3 times in general. Why would I want to go back to the classroom to teach there? Hell no, I'm going to rest. I'm going to get some rest. Well, we will pray that all will be revealed. But I will bring you an update to this story because this is a very bizarre story. When I first saw this the other day, I thought it was a joke. I said, oh no, this ain't real. I know damn well ain't no 5-year-old beating no damn teacher up. Now, I don't know if the person is white or black. So don't get me wrong with where I'm getting ready to take this, because anybody black already know where I'm going with this. Ain't no way in hell I'm about to let nobody 5 years old tag me. And I don't give a damn if I was 5'5" or 6'6". Yo little minion ain't about to take the queen down. Do you understand what I'm saying? So when I first saw this story, the first thing I said was, well, damn, how big is the 5-year-old? Is the 5-year-old 5'5"? Are we talking about a baby giant in the classroom? What are we talking about? Because let me tell you something. If it wasn't for the fact the child with special needs, if this was a regular student, somebody would have been going to jail because somebody would have beat the hell out of your 5-year-old. Shut up, Queen. We have seen teachers punching their students, older than 5, of course, but teenagers fighting them. I saw that a year or 2 ago. Black school teacher punching a student. And I mean, he was punching that child like a man, which was inappropriate because you don't beat a student. That's why there has to be a protocol for disruptive behavior. Talking too much, talking loud, over-talking, jumping up, throwing things. You call for backup. As soon as the voice elevates, just call security. Don't even engage. You don't engage because it won't stop once you quit back. But a 5-year-old, that's a whole different story. You're talking about a little person. But I'm curious to know how long this has been going on. I would assume since the start of school last year. Assumingly. And that is a long time to deal with a disruptive child. Special needs or not. Because in the end, the special needs has nothing to do with the fact that this is a concurring problem. And something needs to be done about the protocol, the child, the handling of the child. Because in the end, this is a 5-year-old we're talking about. Just 5 years from being an infant. And perhaps the child has some serious issues going on with himself, mentally, physically, and you don't know what's going on with the child at the house. So we have to weigh all options. Whose child is this? What's going on in his house? What are his parents doing to curb his behavior issues? Are they in tune to what's going on with their child? Are they meeting with the staff and the school teachers about their child? What has been done by the school? What has been done by the school board? Obviously nothing. So I'm answering my own damn questions. What in the hell happened? Because this is a problem that should have never reached concussion number 2. I'm speaking personally for myself. That's why I always say, I'm not in her shoes, so I don't know what's going on in Florida, but I would speak for Queen. Queen ain't about to let nobody 5 years old whoop on her. I don't give a damn what's wrong with your child. I'm not going to put up with it. The first time the child started acting out, I would have kindly took him outside the room, called security, whatsoever, and let him know I don't have time for this. Because in the end, whether they're special needs or not, they're disrupting the class, and the teacher cannot babysit one child or 2 children with a classroom full of kids. Now, naturally, with special needs, she probably ain't got no more than probably 6 to 10 children per class. Because I can't see an entire special ed class with 30 kids. So you also have to ask that as well. How many children were in the special needs class? 5, 6, 10, 15, what? And obviously, as I said, the other child was just as disruptive because in the original video that I posted to my community page, they said the children were throwing chairs in the room. So they could have put somebody's eye out. These damn kids. This is crazy to me. But in the end, he's still a child. Mentally undeveloped or not, he is still a child. And it's not his fault that he has these issues. So that's why I was asking, what is the level of the mental disability? Because that will also weigh in. That will also weigh in. Some people are slower learners, then some are mentally, physically handicapped. What is the degree of this child's handicap mentally, physically? I want to thank you all for joining me for this very riveting, bizarre story out of the state of Florida. Lord have mercy. This is some craziness going on. We're going to have colder temperatures this weekend in the eastern part of the seaboard. Please bundle up, be safe. Wintry mix, freezing rain, winds, and possible snow. So if you're living anywhere in the East Tennessee area, please watch your local news and stay safe. We'll be in the early teens Sunday morning. God bless all of you. Stay safe. I thank you all for following the content. New subs, chat, mods. Please go over to my community page for breaking news, updated stories. Jussie Smollett, sentenced to 150 days in jail, has to pay restitution and fines. 30-month probation. He is free to roam the earth anywhere after he does his 150 days in the Chicago County Jail. God is good. Please check out my live from last night. I gave it up, and so did the judge. Amen. Thank you all so much for following the content. You all are loyal. Thank you so much. I appreciate your support. If I find anything that I want to talk about before the evening comes, I'll bring you another live. If not, have a safe weekend. Once again, if you'd like to donate to the dream of Everyday Shenanigans, $ Big Angie 129 Cash App. All super chats are welcome during the lives. God bless all of you. Stay safe. Prayers for this teacher down in Florida and prayers for the child because, as I said, nobody asked to come here. We don't know what problems he has and doesn't have, how long this issue's been going on with the school board and the school itself. But a change is going to have to come because in the end, somebody has to teach that lady's class. Stay woke. Somebody has to teach the class The child has to be able to still go to school and get an education. And now this lady has to decide if she wants to continue on as a school teacher and if she will pursue any type of legal situation with the school board. We will see, and I will bring you an update. God bless all of you. Prayers for Miss Cynthia Cole out of Florida, who was found deceased in a septic tank last week. Prayers to her family. Very baffling story. And also there's a riveting story coming out of Bakersfield, California. A black male found in a well. How'd he get there? Did he fall in? Did somebody put him there? What's the 411? There are pictures of him. He's a very tall guy. Put it together. Foul play, murder. What happened? And also, Southern California, a human has been found mummified in the wall of, I believe, a convention center. I just posted that to my community page. Body intact. Who put the body there? Some crazy stuff going on in America. Welcome to America, honey. Land of the free and land of the crazies. Thanks for joining me. Everyday Shenanigans. See you soon.